Hi, my name is Rousen. I'm 53 years old. I am not Scottish, as you'll probably pick up from my accent, but I've been here for 31 years. Um, I have pretty much, I would say I'm pretty much a creature of habit, so my lifestyle in general is very much a routine, day to day. My average day, I would say, starts probably around between 6:30 and 7:15, really, when I'm waking up. I tend to be a slow riser, wake up, come down the stairs probably about 7:15. The first thing I do is tend to get the kettle on, make myself a cup of coffee, sit and catch up on the news headlines first thing in the morning. And I tend to do that till probably about 7 o'clock, when I head upstairs to wake my 14-year-old up and try to stir her for the day ahead. I'll come back down. Don't tend to have anything to eat for breakfast at home, but I'm quite happy to have a couple of cups of coffee before my day starts properly. Once my daughter's down, we get her sorted out, get breakfast ready for her. And then it's a general mad rush to get ourselves dressed and organised to get out the door within 3/4 of an hour. And we tend to do that, it's very much a routine for us, so we can do it in swift time. Leave the house probably about 25 past 8:30 to do the school run, drop her off at school. Generally we're having a quick catch up in the morning outside the school gates before I throw her out the car. And I make a mad dash to my office. I tend to panic because I've never got enough change for parking meters, but that's always in the forefront of my mind about what loose change I've got in my bag. So generally I would say I'm stopping off at a coffee shop to try and get coffee to take me into the office, but more importantly to provide me with change for the parking meters. When I get into the office, generally it's a case of sort of logging on, and first thing probably I do is check my calendar to see what my day has in store for me. I'm a project manager for an economic development agency here in Scotland, with my focus very much on aviation links and working with airlines to try and secure new air services for Scotland. But particularly those air services that have economically important air services, as opposed to the sort of sunshine routes that most people are generally interested in. So I tend to, the first thing really I would be doing would be responding to emails that happened overnight. At home I tend to keep a check on emails, so there's not too many surprises when I go in the morning, but because we have offices all around the world, within different time zones, colleagues quite often will be sending you emails through the night, and I'll respond to those in the morning. Throughout the day, I will have a series of meetings, some directly with airlines here in Scotland, others I'm having to travel to have meetings with them, whether that be here in the UK or overseas. And really my job really is about talking up Scotland and try to encourage direct airlines to have direct services in and out of Scotland and Scottish airports. And I do that most days, and in between that you've got those kind of day-to-day things that you have to tackle. So you've got your internal work that you have to keep on top of it's not part of your core job, but things that have to be done. So I spend a lot of time doing that. Also, a lot of my meetings are about sharing what I do with colleagues. The organisation I work for, we have about 1,500 people, so I need to make sure that people are aware of what I'm doing, and making sure that we're all sort of singing from the same hymn sheet. I would say probably about 11:30 I'm really starting to think about lunch, to be honest, because I've not had breakfast and I've spent the whole morning drinking coffee. So about 11:30 I'm starting to think about what I'm going to have. Most days I'll grab something from the local chip shop, which is right next to our office, which is very, very convenient. And I have great intentions of going in and getting a soup and a roll, but I would say 9 times out of 10 I'm coming out with a roll and chips. When I'm feeling very smug and very kind of conscientious, I'll head up to Paisley Town Centre into Marks and Spencer's and grab a salad. But those salad days are becoming fewer and fewer. My afternoon again is very similar to my morning. It consists of having meetings with airlines, meeting colleagues, internal colleagues, but also meeting with colleagues that I work in close partnership with colleagues at the Scottish Government and Visit Scotland. And we work together very much as a team. So we have these regular meetings. With technology changing all the time, it doesn't always require me to go to physically go to meetings, and that we can have Skype calls that we have at work that we can do, while sitting at your desk. Once I'm kind of on top of all of this stuff, if I'm based in the office, I will probably leave the office around 5 o'clock, at the back of 5. If I'm out of the office, I'll be travelling home from wherever my meeting is. If it's in Edinburgh, it's just I tend to either take the train or drive, and the coming home, arriving at home depends on the traffic and the time I leave Edinburgh. Getting home, it's very much a sort of standard thing. We come home, we just catch up very quickly on who's been doing what during the day. And then it's time to start thinking about tea. I would say most of the week, Monday to Thursday, my husband tends to cook for us. And I would say most of the time, whatever he cooks, we tend to complain about. But we've got to give him credit for trying. So tonight, for example, we had steak and chips. Yesterday, I think we had cheese toasties. So it varies from day to day, and by the time the weekend comes, I can be assured that we're going to have a proper meal because I'm cooking it. Once tea's done and everything's tidied up, we tend to again just sit around having a catch up. I like to get organised pretty early, so I'm generally bathed and in my pyjamas quite early, 7:30, 8 o'clock. Gives me time to catch up on all my soaps if I can. If I've got them recorded, I'll catch up on that. I'm back to enjoying reading a lot, so I tend to read quite a lot of stuff. Catching up on the news, particularly American news, seems to be taking up a lot of my time these days. My daughter, once she's up to bed, about 9 o'clock, most nights I'm thinking that actually it'd probably be a perfect time for me to go, but I try to stay up for a little bit longer than a 14-year-old. And then I would say about 10 o'clock, I really am ready for bed. And once I've sort of tidied up things around us, I'm generally heading up to bed. And I would have to say I'm not one of these people that has a problem in sleeping, because as soon as my head hits the pillow, I'm out. And I don't think about too much until the next day when it all starts again.